Ladies, gentlemen, all those in between on the outer edges, and aliens alike in the digital realm, social medias, the YouTubes, and anywhere else you are seeing this. This is From the Devil's Den, presented by all the peeps in the Destruct Principle. And normally I would go down the row and we would do introductions, but this episode is a repeat of things we did earlier individually. We figured why not throw everyone in it at once so we can have chats, all that interesting things that pop up out of nowhere spontaneously, and everything that goes with it. And again, I've said before, I've said in episodes that aren't going to happen, that we have upgraded to knowledgeable podcasters. We now have headphones so we can hear ourselves. So there's going to be a few more episodes that pop up here and there where we don't have headphones on and I'm blowing out mic levels and things are not as great, but deal with it. So yes, what I like to do is kind of do a quick intro, current events. I'm not going to do the intros again because that's coming later. But so current events with this is just kind of like what everyone's been listening to, if you've been reading anything, working on anything, things outside of doing this spooky shit. Name some interesting things you'd like to bring up people might check out or you just want to mention. We'll start off with Avery.
I don't know, I tried to listen to the new Deer and Grey. Nah.
That just came out, right?
It just came out.
What's the title? I don't even remember it.
Polaris or something like that. I'm not really.
Yeah, something like that.
You're not feeling it? I still haven't listened to any of it.
Nothing grabbed me except the singles that had already been released that I don't know. I just might have to give it another listen because that's happened before with some of their other albums where I listen and I'm just like, and then I revisit it and I'm like, no, some of these are good. I don't know. I don't know. You know when you're really excited about something and then you listen to it and you're just kind of like, it's the artist for sure, but.
Well, again, so I haven't heard any of it yet, but obviously, you know.
I feel like you've heard the singles.
I think I heard at least one of them. So obviously, like, you know, they're one of my favorite groups. But I've said this before to you, and that like, at least somewhat recently, their promotional imagery and things like that,
cool,
like,
got you
catch you so much.
Yes.
And then necessarily the material doesn't always.
It might change when I watch the music video because for what they've shown, the teasers look really cool, and it might, I don't know.
Sometimes it does make or break it.
Make it a little bit better.
So it just hasn't caught you yet?
I've only listened to it like twice, but I feel like, I don't know. The first time I was just kind of not really paying attention, and the second time I was, and I still was kind of, I don't know.
Well, see you in a few more listens.
Yeah.
Anything else? I know you were just unveiled some stuff to us tonight, working on some cool things. Don't recall what you had on your head earlier.
Oh, a mask. I just repainted a mask, but.
Do you want to hold it up?
It's not like finished yet because it's just really fast. Had to do something real fast.
Very nice.
But
look at that, crafty shit. We've said before how like one of the outfits I wear was basically pieced together by her. So yes, everyone in TDB. Everyone in the group does lots of cool shit. Anything else, or are you?
I'm good. I don't have anything else.
Pop over to JB Dubs. Current events, interesting things.
Just aside from doing everything we do with TDP, I've been doing a lot of painting and artwork. I've been trying to stay busy with that and keep the momentum going with trying to learn how to paint and do more artwork, something I've been trying to do lately. Aside from that, you mentioned bands and music currently listening to, been listening to a band called Yob a lot. I've also been listening to, I've been on a kick of a band called Death in June, and just other old school classic goth stuff that I listen to just all the time anyway. Just go into that a lot lately,
and even though I asked you this yesterday, since that doesn't matter now, I'll ask you again because I forget anyways. As far as, say, 2 to 3 classic goth tracks that are going to get you moving and doing the bat dance. Actually, this will be to everyone, all 3 of you. What are, say, give a good, what are some 2 or 3 goth tracks that if you're, being sulking in the corner in the club, but they come on, you like get on the floor and you're like, fucking A.
Yeah, that's a tough question. Okay, one song is, a lot of anything, maybe not anything, but like there's a few songs that I thought of a band called Faith in the Muse. If I hear a song called Evidence of Heaven by Faith in the Muse, that's a good rocker. I like that band a lot. If something more current, maybe, I love Drab Majesty, so like anything off of their album The Demonstration.
They're touring with AFI.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's a great combination.
Nice.
Wow, I wouldn't have expected that. That's really cool. That's cool. So, yeah, something like that. I forget the name of the group, but there's a song called Blind Trust. Do you know that song? Okay, you probably heard it.
It sounds really familiar.
That's a more modern era kind of song, but I know the song title is Blind Trust, and if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't remember the name of the group. I just know that one song, and it's like a goth, dance floor,
Nice.
modern day classic, you might say. Anything from Christian Death is probably gonna like make me pretty happy to hear. If I hear that, that'll get me on the dance floor, maybe. Not really a big dancer necessarily, so, but if the right song is played, like you said, I might say, fuck it, I'm gonna be really goth tonight and dance like.
And you're gonna pick those cobwebs.
Yes, I was just gonna say, and I'm gonna goth it up and dance like a goth. And yeah, the picking cobwebs and
the 2-step.
Yeah. Again, if you know, you know.
If you know, you
Drop
know.
your contact.
There you go.
Gosh, I could go on and on about goth, music and songs I like.
Well, you gave the 2 or 3 club tracks.
Yeah.
There you
go. So like I said, I could go on and on, but I guess I'll stop there.
Razor Avery have
anything
answer?
KMFDM, not technically goth, but that's.
Well, it doesn't have to be goth, but in the goth club.
KMFDM,
Yeah.
You would
Skinny
totally
Puppy.
hear KMFDM in the goth
Absolutely.
club, yeah, and Skinny Puppy for sure. You'd hear
Oh, yeah.
that.
Anything by them. That's anytime any of the clubs have any of the request list, I'm just like anything KMFDM or Skinny Puppy.
Yes.
And normally they'll play Megalomaniac and whatever, but
Still,
I'd rather hear something else.
Yeah, even still, you hear it on a club system, you'll get out there.
I will have to say, whoever was DJing, one of the DJs at the Apocalypse East event played an Ogre track and a KMFDM track that was not normally played, and that was awesome.
There are some good DJs there.
If I hear Incubus by Electric Hellfire Club,
I was going to say that.
Sorry.
One. That's okay. I just have to think of others.
Yeah. That's definitely one, though. I have to mention that song for sure. I love that band. So, yeah.
What about you, Adam?
What about you, Adam?
Oh, I'll be vague, kind of like you were, and say like if I hear Thrill Kill.
Oh yeah, that too.
Nice.
If I hear anything Thrill Kill, if I hear Skinny Puppy, if I hear like one of the more kind of, up-tempo Depeche Mode, I'll get out there. And, yeah.
Heck yeah.
And now you can continue, because I interrupted where you got to your goth music. JB Dub's current events, I interrupted.
Oh, well, I think that was just about it for me, though. That's pretty much what I've been up to. And I guess the only other thing outside of that is I haven't been reading necessarily like an actual book. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I guess that's the same thing, kind of, but not really.
Reading with your ears.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, only better, because you can listen to I always I don't know. I think that's a
You
great...
can listen to it anywhere. You can't read and drive,
No, I was going to say...
but you can listen and drive.
It's a great thing for, like, the multitasker.
Yes.
Sure.
Because you
yeah.
can listen and take in all that
Yeah,
and still be, like, scooping litter boxes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I like audiobooks, so I've been listening to one the past, few weeks by Alan Watts, somebody I've been, reading up on and stuff. So that's about it for me, I think.
Very
Where
nice.
do you have it? Are audiobooks on Spotify? Or are they? Do you have an
They're on
app or something?
Audible.
I have Audible. Yeah, I actually have the Audible app.
Okay.
So that's what I use.
There's a
But
lot of free stuff on there too.
yeah.
Oh, have
yep.
to check it out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Audible's great. So
Just raise the
Yeah.
D.
Well, I guess I'll do my goth tracks first.
yes,
Um,
please.
Anything upbeat by Sisters of Mercy usually will get me
Yes.
on the dance
yes,
floor. Alien Sex Fiend.
Yes.
And Switchblade Symphony.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, everything's already been said, so
Yeah.
just wanted to add some new ones to that,
Those groups should definitely be mentioned.
right?
Yep.
As far as what I've been up to, other than constantly working on music stuff for TDP and the Mary Lou's, I got back into painting, partially inspired by JBW, so that's been really cool. Other than that, working on the spicy content, releasing videos every Thursday, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just trying to work on art, get more stuff up online for sale, and hammering away at new music and writing and all that kind of good stuff.
Do you have a specific name for Thursdays? Is it like Thirsty Thursday or like, I don't know.
What's the hashtag?
It's the hashtag Thirsty Thursday is good. I just released the clown horn one that got banned on OnlyFans.
Oh.
Not everyone thinks a clown horn can be used in all the ways. I
Well,
guess.
they're
No,
wrong.
their TOS is stupid and you can't do a lot of things.
But you
that
can
they
still
do.
get it if you tip, and I'll send you the download link on the DL.
The DL, David Letterman. He'll send
David
you-
Lynch.
David Lynch. Yes.
Clown porn directed by David Lynch.
I'm sure it's out there.
Probably.
But anyways, and as far as myself, yes, working on all the things, pretty much. I don't really have much else to add to taking care of kitties. Really the only thing that is done aside from working on all aspects of the Destruct Principle is taking care of kitties, fostering kitties, finding them homes, and looking at videos of them. And before we end this quick intro part, I wanted to shout out again, because it was in a prior one that we had equipment failure. Lauren Ray, Dark Parlor Peep, Extended Spooky Fam, gifted me the book of the 120 Days of Sodom by the Marquis. Sallow, the movie, very difficult piece of cinema to get through, but important in history. Very difficult book and movie both to get through. But if you're in a not bad mindset, go for it. If you're 18 or older. Other than that, that is pretty much it. And that is our introduction before we jump into what the main meat of this episode is. So we're going to quick take a break that you won't know about. It'll be spliced together.
Nope.
And we'll get into it then. And here we are. We are back from the Devil's Den, presented by the Destruct Principle. And this episode, again, was originally shot separately, and we just decided, let's just get everyone together so it can be much more kind of natural, open, not so just interview. So here we are, and today's topic is all about us and the Destruct Principle. Member introductions, bio questions, and chit-chat. Take 2. So we'll go down the line. I'll give the first question, and we can start with Avery after I ask it. Introduce yourself.
I'm Avery. I play percussions, and I do vocals in the Destruct Principle.
And you make some of the things that I wear and that
Yeah.
you wear.
I like to craft and make costumes.
You've also been the creator of one of the kick drums. Also the one of the designs on at least one of the designs on the merchandise, the Chaos Reigns one, the X-Goat, which was also the kick drum. All that good stuff. Am I forgetting things? I mean, yeah, bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
She's shy.
I am not very talkative.
And so with that, jump down to the JB Dubs. Who are you? What do you do?
Yep.
Tell us.
I'm Jared. I play percussion as well for the band in our live performances, as well as some other miscellaneous instruments, occasional live guitar, and backing vocals.
I was going to say you're currently additional percussion and vocals and things, but you have been guitar, you have been keyboards,
Yes.
you have been all over the place.
Yep.
But currently hitting things and chanting things. And
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
indeed. And beside JB Dubs,
I am Razor D. Rockefeller, and I started doing mostly vocals, and now I do some of the auxiliary percussion and hopefully some other cool instrumentation in the future. Yeah.
yes, cool things that will
Cool
be
things.
happening.
Exactly.
And then myself, I am Adam Robert Paul, and I dance around in unique and interesting ways on stage that are only interesting and unique to me, and I wear long horns sometimes, depending which outfit I choose. So that is us. That is the Destruct Principle. Very briefly.
Yeah.
Next question. Again with Avery, we will start with you. How long have you been in the Destruct Principle, and what does it mean to you?
I've been involved in it since 2017, so that's like 5 years. And just means that I can be myself with like-minded people, and nothing is too weird or out there, and everyone kind of encourages everyone to explore themselves.
I was gonna say if we only would push it to be more weird and out
Yeah,
there.
no, and that's what's cool about it, because if I have an idea and I come to anyone and
'Cause
they're
there have
just like,
been
hell
times-
yeah, I'm like,
there have been
okay.
times that you'll be like, is this too much? And I'm like, amp it up.
not even, well, so, yeah,
Yeah.
but normally what is already too much, I'm like, and then like he's like, nah, and I'm like, okay, because I was going to go more, but I just wanted to make sure, and I should have known. Nothing's too weird, so, but it means a lot to me, and I've put a lot of myself into over the past 5 years, and it's just going to get better.
Jared Barkley Wood, how long have you been in TDP, and what does it mean to you?
Well, Adam and I, we started the project probably, what,
I think it
maybe
was
10 years
I
ago?
think it was 2012.
Something like
OG.
that?
Around
Yeah.
Because 2012 was when we released some of the very first promo videos
Nice.
that were shot.
Yes, yes.
That were shot
And
at
that's
your.
on the old YouTube, right?
That's on the
the old
old The
one.
Destruct Principle channel that you cannot access anymore. That we can't access.
But yeah, I've been in TDP for the better part of a decade now. And, what does it mean to me? Well, I would have to kind of echo what Avery said. When I think of what we do, I guess I first think of music, and like music, it's like one of the most important things to me, and so for me this is a project, a group that I can make music with my friends. That's pretty much what I think of this as. It's a way to create and do really cool things with music and everything else that we present with TDP as the vessel for that. But it's something that I get to create with my friends, and that's what it is to me, and because of that it means a lot to me as well. So it means a lot to me. It's important to me. It's something I cherish, and been part of it for quite a while now, and there's no end in sight. At least I don't think there is. So yeah, that's about it for me on that.
And so to Razor, how long have you been in TDP, and what does it mean to you?
I'm the baby. Been about, I think, a little over a year now, and I was asked to come on board at a very interesting time in my life, and I guess it was a needed outlet at that time. To me, it's become a very important and integral part of my life. I have other musical projects that are vastly different, so it is a very unique and personal experience to be able to explore a different side of myself artistically and creatively in a project like this, where I can be more raw and more primal and explore that part of myself that doesn't usually get to come out. So it's been a very cathartic release and a very interesting outlet creatively, and it has become, again, a very important and key part of my life, even in the short amount of time I've been involved.
And as far as
wait, can I ask you?
Sure.
How long have you been in TDP?
So, similar answer to Jared. I was also one of the founders of the Destruct Principle, I believe again in 2012, when he and I were involved in some other projects, and the initial concept was much more of a performance art. We did not in any way view it as a band. We imagined basically performance art pieces done to sound in the vein of what you would think of going back to like Too Dark Park and Last Rites era Skinny Puppy performances. Was the very early initial concepts of it. And so yes, since then, and obviously that has changed and grown over time. And what does it mean to me has also changed and grown over time. Initially, in the early year birth idea of it, this would be something really good to get more of that abstract performance art ideas out of our head. And over the years, it has kind of it has molded its way into being a very necessary, permanent part of me, and in very unique and odd ways has both kind of shaped history for me, and also seems to be writing history for me in the future in a way that probably only makes sense to me, but I'm looking forward to it. So it seems to be an ever-evolving and growing force to me, that is also very unique in that while it's always there and it's always being worked on in some way, there are times when it can be very strong, and then there are times when it's there, but I'm not necessarily in the right space to maybe work on the material for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been an interesting journey so far with it. It has gone from, this would be a cool project to do performance art, not necessarily like a band, and it has come a long way into almost a sort of a spiritual release performance, almost performance art in a sort of full circle way, which is very different from its initial concept. That was a lengthy answer, but that is my answer. So we're going to go to the next one, which kind of ties into what I just said. So maybe I don't have to answer this one. In what way does the Destruct Principle affect or influence your life, if it does?
Is it me? Oh. It's made me, like, just kind of not face my fears, but just evolve as a person, because I'm very shy in real life and off stage, I guess. And I would never probably have considered being on stage performing, but it's kind of...
Which is really funny, probably for people that hear you say that, if they saw the shows in the first era, because they would have been like, this person is shy?
Yeah. But it's also made me approach, like, life differently now. I'm not scared to do things that I normally would be. I'm a very anxious person, and it's definitely helped me overcome a lot of things that I normally wouldn't be confident doing. And so I'm kind of thankful for that. It's just kind of made me, I guess, not a better person, but I've kind of found who I am through TDP, and like what it is I want to like express to the world, and just kind of find myself and be comfortable with who I am. And
yeah, I don't think I would say like a better person, because that makes it sit. But
no,
I think
but
it's
like,
sit. But I mean, definitely,
like
it sounds like
it
has made you grow.
Yes, grow as a person. That's a better. I'm not good with words either, so I apologize for my likes, because I'm a
spooky
valley girl.
Jared Barkley Wood, in what way does TDP affect or influence your life?
I actually have some similar thoughts to what Avery said. Overall, when I think of that question, I feel like it's given me a more of a sense of maybe boldness and confidence in my off-stage life, you might say. It's given me something to sort of carry myself with. It's given me a sense of identity and purpose. And it's given me an outlet to create, as I said, music and art with my friends. And so in those ways, it does influence my life, and I would say it does in a positive way that I'm very grateful for.
And Razor, in what ways does TDP affect or influence your life?
As I had said before, I have other musical projects. I've always been into music from a very young age. So I think a big thing with TDP and having that in my life now is being able to explore a new side of myself artistically and creatively and musically. I get to utilize things in my arsenal that I haven't gotten to, in a way I haven't gotten to. And it's a very special and unique experience, as well as carrying that into my everyday life. Some of the elements that TDP pulls out of you and that it kind of brings to the surface can be utilized in other creative endeavors like art, and as people have said too, that almost that boldness that comes to the surface and that confidence in doing something like this. I think when you expose that raw vulnerability on stage in a way that TDP does, it helps you have that confidence and that boldness in real life. So I think definitely growth in areas of that respect. And again, just coming together with like-minded people to create something very unique and something that has taken on a life of its own, which is very special.
Very nice. That's good to hear from everyone.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, for me, I won't go into long-winded areas, but how has it affected or influenced my life? Again, that has sort of shifted over time and had interesting dynamics, both good and bad by no fault of its own. But I don't know really how else to say it other than in every way, because it, as we've said before, I guess in last night's throwaway, that it's something that's always there now, and it's something that's always thoughts. So it's kind of grafted itself into my life as it, if that even if it's not necessarily something, if I'm not working on it at the time, I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking of different things with it. So in that aspect, it's always there, and it's kind of become this like shadow friend that has also had major influence, even especially recently in maybe the last 6 months or more, in that just kind of just working to just myself kind of, I guess as cliche as it might sound, even more so find what I feel is me and bring that as much as I can, to where you finally say, this is what I feel is where I should be, or this is the path I feel that I should be taking. And I feel with that, I don't know if it is me influencing where it is going, at least for me, or if it is where it is going or has gone already and will be more, that has influenced me to kind of go that way in a just more open spiritual kind of reach, try to reach different areas of some existence. I know this sounds really vague, but it's just when we're performing, when we're up there, you really aren't there. You are, but you're somewhere. And so when you can tap into that, and performance, especially of what we do, is this sort of ritualistic, spiritual, as much as you want it to be, and that's obviously what we all see it as. So it's just kind of like bringing that aspect even more into the daily, and it's just it's very positive. So, and I'll leave it at that, 'cause long-winded times. Next question: what influences do you bring to TDP, and how do you utilize and shape these into your vision for the group?
Well, like Adam said before, I like to make like the costumes and try to do some of the stage stuff just with bones and stuff that we found on walks. But I like to think that, like, if we have ideas or anything like that, just with the stage or with our outfits and stuff, I could try to bring them to life. And like with his outfit, it was a hard time coming, but I did it. But that's like, I feel like that's another part of like the aspect of the group is like, not only is it musically, we also get to like bring our creative sides to it, and that's another journey that I think kind of means something to like the band and stuff. Is you kind of find out a lot about yourself when you're making something that doesn't seem like it's going to be possible, and then it kind of manifests, and it's just a good feeling. And I don't know.
No, that's
like,
That's good.
yeah, no, I get it. Like when I, again, many people have made comment on, the outfit that I wear that you made. Just you get to, like you said, you get to kind of branch out into all these different creative avenues that, while you might have before, if you necessarily didn't feel like essentially a purpose other than, of course, like, you're making it because you want to, but when it's like
but it's like when you have a vision and then you get to like bring it to life and you've like succeeded at it.
You're like, what? Like I
it
made
makes
this,
you feel nice.
and now here it is on a drum head, or here he is wearing it in performance, or it's on a shirt. It's cool to see it out in the world and be like, that was from me. So no, I get it. Jared Barkley Wood, what influences do you bring to TDP, and how do you utilize and shape these into your vision for the group?
Well, musically, I would say I'm probably the most metal influenced, and I also feel like the most, maybe not the most, but as far as myself, I'm most influenced by like some of that metal stuff, but also goth music and just a lot of atmospheric ambient type of music that we've been injecting into the project more and more now. I think I've brought that in the past and to the present with what we do, musically speaking. I think each one of us brings our own, not only personalities to this that influence each other and what we do with this, but we all also bring our own, our own sort of witchiness to it. And I think,
I like that.
Yeah, so I think we all bring that to this in our own ways. And as far as, because that's an important part of this, we mention things like that and spirituality and other things when we talk about this. So as far as those influences go, I feel like I bring in my own subtle ways that to the group as well. And I guess how I utilize my own influences and my own take and how I filter that into the project. I try to bring kind of a sense of just, like I said, the atmospheric, to the visuals as far as what I do. Try to bring that into it. I guess I kind of go for like a sort of Native American shaman type of feel, as well as the witchy shit that I bring. And I guess that's about the best way I could answer that as far as influences I put into the group, if that made sense.
Yeah.
Very nice. And Miss Razor D, what influences do you bring to TDP, and how do you utilize and shape these into your vision for the group?
Well, I originally, like I said, I really was just doing vocals, and when I was asked to be in the group, one of the first things was, you had asked me if I did like classical sort of operatic singing, and I had said, actually, I dabble, and I think it's been a really cool journey with that, and adding that kind of into the group to add almost a sense of this etherealness amongst the chaos of it all. And I think it's been a really cool, at least in my opinion, sort of dynamic added into the group with that, as well as like being able to utilize the more gravelly stuff, the more raspiness. So I feel like those influences are definitely something, at least that I uniquely brought in, and how it's kind of changed and evolved, seeing the incarnation of TDP now, and coming up with my own sort of look and feel and performance for it, getting inspiration from everyone in the group already, but also, you know, taking inspiration from things in my world, pulling inspiration with looks from like Anna Varney, or even like cinema with things like Begotten, and kind of utilizing those to craft myself into something where I feel there is a grotesqueness but also a beauty to it. And I love playing with that juxtaposition with myself and with my performance. And I feel like it just adds a different dynamic, something a little bit different, and complements what you all are doing as well.
Which, again, since you mentioned Begotten, and we're all fans of that film, if you go back to the old The Destruct Principle YouTube channel, which is not the one you should subscribe to now, the first 2 or 3 promo art videos that we made are very much inspired by the look and feel of Begotten, which I would think you would watch them and go, yes, they are.
Yes.
But so that's
yeah. So, and then also too, like getting able to make stuff. Like I make wigs and I make clothes and I make all kinds of things, and being able to utilize that in the group, and also like the makeup artistry I do and things of that nature has been really cool to have a group of people I can bring that to and share that with.
I think it's fair to say that if anyone does something creatively, I'm going to try to find a way to utilize it in the group. So yes, I like that it's something that, as long as you're fine with it being in it, you know, to have, like, you do this, let's find something that works within it. So, an example, new merch that'll be coming out soon, probably within the next, new merch round of designs. We'll have a piece that Jared Barkley Wood did. So,
yes.
And as far as me, again, I'll do kind of short as much as I can. Influences I bring to TDP, I'll just stick to kind of musically with that, and you definitely hear this hopefully in the first album, and then more so in the Ash of Histories and things that'll be coming out in the future, is I very much enjoy just music of cinema and OSTs and things like that, but on top of that, just not even necessarily ambient tracks, but just sounds and attention and feel that put you somewhere. So these soundscapes, and all of us enjoy that, but I'm just saying, for as far as like actually working within the music part of it, I really like to bring as much of that as possible to pieces that it works with, and then make it as big as it can. Like, I hope that when you, and people have thankfully said this, that when you listen to Ash of Histories, you can have this sound, visual feeling in your mind about it, or some of the kind of like music only tracks in Malignant Hymn that just give you this feeling about them. So I really like to play with just sound, dynamics and atmosphere, and like the tension of them, and silence. So I like to think I bring kind of like my appreciation for cinematic sounds to it. How do I utilize and shape these into my vision for the group? In any way that I can, that is necessary and that I'm able to do. A broad answer, but that's what it is. And with that, we have alarms set so we do not go very long with this, because as we tend to do. So we're going to take a quick break and make sure everything's still working properly.
Yes,
we'll
indeed.
be back. And we have returned from our break. If you didn't know about, I've got my trick-or-treat cup. As you can see that the setting has changed a bit. We didn't just leave you. We left you for a while. We'll never leave you. Next question, then. Where are we here? We're official with paper. Has TDP changed over the years? If so, how? And do you have a preference of any particular era?
I don't have a preference. I think both eras were, I guess, needed. And it's definitely changed a lot. At least my role has changed, like, a lot. I used to, for the Chaos era, I was just a stage performer and pretty much put my body through hell at each show. But it was a very nice release for me.
With the bruises to prove it.
Yes.
All consensual, don't come at me.
I think
You can't sue me now.
Yeah.
and now I'm more involved musically, but I still bring the stage performance with me. That's always like a big love for me is movement, and I brought that with me with the Chaos Ritual era and now the Greater Magic Movement era. I brought that too. Every sound has a movement in my head, and I like to think I kind of visualize sound as movement, and even down to the tippy tips of my fingers, what could they do? But it's definitely changed a lot over the years.
I guess that means you're going to jump into the ASMR realm.
No, that makes me uncomfortable.
Some of those
Some
do.
of them are okay.
Those
I like the crinkle unwrapping videos where they make little tiny miniature foods.
We
But
just talk about cigarette ASMR.
but the ones where they're tapping and doing weird stuff, I don't like it.
The
I
I
wish
like
I-
cats. I like cats eating stuff and cats crunching on the treats. I like
Lily.
that.
I wish they could have heard the sound that Jared was moving before we started back up. It's amazing. Just to give you a brief idea, he was reading bits of 120 Days of Sodom in a Gilbert Gottfried voice.
Then it went to Christopher Walken
It
for
was
a little
beautiful.
bit, but it was.
It's amazing.
Glorious.
Jared, has TDP changed over the years, and if so, how? And do you have a preference of any particular era?
Well, it's certainly changed over the years. As Adam said, started out as a project that was not necessarily something that was creating songs. It's more so just creating visuals. And like he said, a sort of performance art sort of project.
Because I remember even back in the early stages, because we still do this, but when we get excited about a concept, it's just like nonstop back and forth. So I remember we were sending videos that each of us were like, "You gotta check this out." And you're sending me different performance artists and things, and I was sending things to you and music videos, and it was we get into this, I guess you could say back then, because it wasn't around then, but it was kind of almost like a Pinterest where we're just like, anyways, I just remember that.
Oh yeah, and we, like you said, we still do that. So yeah, it's definitely changed over the years. It went from a sort of visual, sort of noise project to something that's become more of a band with songs. And in that time, the creation of the songs, it was at first when we started making actual songs with the group, maybe a little more aggressive, a little harder, a little more guitar based and guitar driven. We referred to that first era of the first album, The Malignant Hymn, as the Chaos Ritual era. And so yeah, that would maybe suggest it was a lot more aggressive and just a little heavier, you might say, in that sense, in a perhaps metal.
What do we call it?
sense.
Controlled chaos.
Yeah, we would refer to the live shows as as controlled chaos and a chaos.
Because it had an
ritual, so-
outline to it, like
Mhm.
the ideas of it were outlined, but it wasn't. We didn't have specifics. Obviously, like the stage show had ways that it went, but it wasn't like 100% pre-planned or anything. It was just there was an idea to it, and we just went with it.
Yep. And since then, it's continued to change. And our latest single, "The Ash of Histories," you might hear that change as it's represented there. So it's changed since then. The music, it's still heavy, but maybe in a different way, not as guitar heavy. It's just, as I said, heavy in a different way. And we're now incorporating some elements that have always been there, but we're just kind of now bringing them more to the forefront. It's, a little more emphasis on creating a similar but different kind of atmosphere with the project, incorporating more drums and percussion and tribal world instrumentation, and as Adam said, more soundtrack type of qualities to the songs. Has it changed over the years? Definitely. In many other ways too that I could go into, but I'll just speak musically in that sense. It's changed for sure. And do I have a preference of any particular era? I wouldn't say I have a preference. Like I said, there was the Chaos Ritual era, and then there's what we're doing now that we call the Greater Magic Movement era. And I can't say I have a preference as to either one. I think they're both equally great and important to me. And that's about how I would answer that question.
Very nice. And Razor, has TDP changed over the years, and if so, how? And do you have a preference of any particular era? And I know with that question, since you weren't in the first one, but you did see the performance.
Yes.
Answer however you wish.
I mean, I can answer as more of a admirer for the first incarnation, because I did see both versions of TDP before I actually was involved. I mean, I personally, as a fan of the work, enjoy both of them. I think as artists, both are necessary, and I think they are both very different, but also it is a logical progression from one to the next. And I am, I very much am happy to be a part of it as it is now, and I've only been a part of it in this era, so I can't really say I have a preference because I wasn't involved before then. But as a fan of the work before, I enjoyed both. I mean, seeing y'all at the Depot a few years back was how I came to know TDP. So that's what originally pulled me in, and I bought a CD and I bought a t-shirt, and I enjoyed the project way before I was even in it. So I think it's a different type of energy for the Chaos Ritual. It's a different type of it's a different release. And then once you all as artists kind of had that, you evolved to the next step and the next progression of it. And I think that's what you need to do as artists, is you need to keep evolving, keep growing, and keep changing the work to fit and reflect currently the events of your life, especially something so personal as something like this. And I feel like even in this era, it has evolved since even last year. And it's exciting to see that, and exciting to see where it is going, because it does have a life of its own.
And for my answer with it, I already did answer part of that earlier. Yes, obviously has changed over the years, and kind of detailed already how. One way that it's changed, at least live, is that I don't smell like pennies after most of the shows.
And we can see.
We can see. My forehead doesn't have as many scars. Do I have a preference of any particular era? The only way I would really answer that is my preference is what is coming. I'm excited to see it. Everything that has happened was necessary. We wouldn't be able to duplicate that in this time. that was needed then, and what it was what it needed to be. What it is now and where it's going is where it's going. So my preference is where we take it. Next question. Do you feel that TDP has been misrepresented or misinterpreted? Avery.
I think that people just assume that we're just another metal band with how we look, and then when they see us, it kind of changes everything. Or they think that we're like evil or something just by how we look in the music that we play and what we believe in. But they couldn't be more far from the truth. But we are definitely just not another local band that most people think we are when we're at shows.
Jared Buckley Wood, do you feel TDP has been misrepresented or misinterpreted?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure it has been. It'd be kind of difficult to pinpoint any particular example of that other than what Avery said. I agree with that. The first impression people might get of us is probably maybe not an accurate one, but then again, I guess I don't necessarily blame anybody for thinking that or misrepresenting it or misinterpreting it, because what we do isn't typical and it's very broad, and I don't think really anybody would be able to interpret it, correctly or the way that we do. I don't think anybody else out there would be able to really interpret it or represent it at all, other than the other three people that I'm in the project with. So has it been misrepresented or misinterpreted? Yeah, I'm sure it has, but it's not something that really bothers me or affects me, because we do what we do, and if you understand it, great, and if not, great. Just as well.
And Razor, same question to you. Do you feel it has been misrepresented or misinterpreted?
I think, as folks have said already, obviously, like, seeing us, they might have a specific idea, especially in the circuit of shows we tend to play, because of how almost genre bending it can be, and different and unique. I think because it works with certain other types of specific genres, people can be like, oh, it's just another metal band or anything like that, which I think is probably the biggest misinterpretation.
It's funny because then when they see us actually set up on stage, they're like,
what is this? What is happening? But yeah, and so, they start to see us set up and they're like, oh, there's all this percussion, there's not even a guitar, like, what's happening? And then, we perform and they realize it's not at all like that. It's so much more. It's performance art. It's a soundscape. It's a feeling. It's a, it's way more than it just being like a band. And I think people are impressed by the amount of work that goes into it, by the amount of work we all put into it, and just how powerful and big it is on such a DIY level, and how professional it is. They see the merch store, they see the performance, and people are blown away. So I think that any misrepresentation or misinterpretation that people have of us is quickly erased when they actually see us and actually speak to us and acknowledge all the work that does go into it, and that it's more than just like, creepy evil band. It's
and I also think when they talk to each of us, they're like, oh,
yeah,
yeah, these people are approachable and nice.
Yes, yeah, because that's another point is oh, you're approachable and mean and spooky and all that stuff, but people speak to us, and we are open and we're willing to talk and chat and explain, what we do, and we want to talk about what we do with other people. So I think, people are really blown away by that, and it's a point of pride that, a band can have that effect, a project can have that effect on people.
And as far as my answer, misrepresented, yes, in all of the same ways, especially if someone just takes it as your typical face value, what they feel some of what we bring to light represents. So misrepresented, anything always will be. Misinterpreted is an interesting answer because I think each person can interpret it in however they do. It doesn't mean it's necessarily right or wrong, which could go into a different type of discussion that would be deep of how each person interprets something is correct to them. The four of us may not interpret it exactly the same. That doesn't make it right or wrong. So misinterpreted, there's not really a yes or no. Misrepresented, yes, as it's going to happen regardless. And that's that. How do you see TDP evolving in the future, and what are you looking forward to with it, Avery?
I think we're just going to get darker in a sense, but not in the typical way. I'm excited for the future and what we're working towards and the sound that we're moving towards, because it can go in a lot of different directions, and we're not afraid to experiment with sound. So I'm excited and looking forward to just the different ideas and stuff that is going to come forth.
And Jared, same question.
Yeah, I again, kind of to echo Avery, I definitely do see it evolving, and I think it will continue to evolve in the ways that it has evolved, and we'll just hopefully kind of keep going down this path that we're on now with it, feeling like there's less of an objective for the final outcome and more just embracing the free flow of creative consciousness, and just being able to say, we want to incorporate more of this into our music, and so since that's what we want to do, we're going to do that. And I'm excited and looking forward to that, to it evolving, just period. I'm looking forward to it evolving. And I do think that you will definitely see and hear an evolution with time, and I am looking forward to it, definitely.
And raise the same question.
As I stated previously, I feel like it's already evolving within this era and growing. And with something like a project like this, it does have a life force of its own. So it's part whoever's involved driving it, part its own entity driving us. So I think that's a really cool way to look at it, and not exactly knowing where it's going in the future, but just kind of letting it tell us where it's going. I'm very excited to help out more with the musical aspects, help out with writing. I'm excited to play more of the plethora of useless and obscure instruments I have collected and have a reason to now use them. So I think it's going to keep evolving. It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep that pulse of moving forward. And it's, I don't know exactly where it's going to end up, but I am very excited, and I don't care that I don't know, because I just am excited to let it take us there.
And as far as my answer, I see it evolving in whatever way is necessary. It's all dependent on what goes into it and what comes back from it. So, meaning, as far as the four of us that are what go into it, depending where we are is how it's going to be shaped, which gives a very vast and broad palette to build off of, and as Razor said, just from when we released Ash of Histories, as you come more and more into this time, more and more is unveiled and realized and comes to you. So where it was a year ago is not where it is now, and where it is now will not be where we're at in 6 months. So I am obviously looking forward to see where we take it and where it takes us. During your history with TDP, share some memories that stand out. I think for the three of you, and I'll chime in, we can have this be like a multi-discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone chime in.
Well, one that sticks out for me that was just perfect timing was it Smite Fest? It was fall, October Smite Fest, where it was the second.
The bonfire?
Yeah, the bonfire where
Yes.
Jordan Child, and there was a huge bonfire that they had going, and it just got bigger and bigger during the song, and it was it's never going to happen again. It was the perfect moment.
That was pretty awesome.
It was really cool.
So we are playing Smite Fest in July. The thing with that one is
I don't think it was July. It was
no, it wasn't. We're playing Smite
Oh.
Fest in July coming
Oh.
up. It's in a hotel this time.
Mm-hmm.
They also used to have it outside on campgrounds. This was, I think, yes, you're right, October time of year.
It was the second show with the in this era that we ever did too.
And so yes, it was.
Or
They
the
had
first, I
they
don't
had a
remember.
huge, bonfire going during our set. It was raining. Obviously, stage was covered, but the crowd is in the rain. It was that was, if you could say, a moment you wanted to capture, is one of them. It was correct.
Yes, I remember that vividly, and I don't think I'll forget that either. Another thing that stands out to me is, and I'm sorry you weren't with us at the time,
okay.
but our tour
Oh my
with
gosh.
Dead Animal Assembly Plant, shout out to them. Our tour with Dead Animal Assembly Plant, lots of memories there.
Everything
for sure.
that could go wrong did go wrong.
A lot of good and a lot of bad, but I guess that's what happens when you tour and you do what we do. But that whole time certainly stands out to me. I remember a show where I don't remember exactly where or when it was, and again, this was during the Chaos Ritual
okay.
era, but I remember a show where we had beer bottles thrown at us.
Oh gosh.
And
That was in Hanover, I think.
yeah, it was in Pennsylvania, and probably just some drunk idiot decided he didn't like what he was seeing from us, and decided to hurl some beer bottles at us, which really could have hurt us. And I remember Adam, you kind of shouted out the guy and basically said to him, "Hey, if you want to, once we're done playing here, if you want to take care of this, we can take care of this."
And then I believe they
They left.
purchased.
They ran.
One of them, because it was a group, but the one that did it, I don't know if he did, but one of them in that group purchased merchandise.
Right. So, whether it was the
Yeah.
one who threw the bottles or not, I guess we won one of them over at least. But that stands out. And I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you all would agree. But just one thing that sticks out to me, with the history of this is just the people we've met and the other, bands we've played with, and the friendships that we've made with other bands and other people and other artists, that stands out to me at least,
And it's fun to do like multiple tours with them or multiple shows. Like
Sure, certainly. Abbey Death comes to mind. We've gotten to be good friends with them. That stands out to me. Getting to know them, and we've even collaborated with them on a song. Adam did vocals with them. So yeah,
yes, you can check that out. Abbey Death. Death is for the Living.
Yes,
I did guest tracks on, and I've popped up a few times live with them.
So
check them out in general.
So for me, a lot of my memories kind of revolve around just the interactions, that I've and the people that I've met on and
it's
off
like
stage.
they say, like obviously the performances are memories, but it's everything that surrounds everything else as well. So.
And this group has been around, like I said, for a decade. So there is a lot of history with it. So, but those are just the ones that I'll touch on. So
it's funny with the Dead Animal Assembly Planet tour you all were on. The Mary Lou's were supposed to play a show on that, and I probably would have met you all sooner if we actually did.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I don't have the history that everyone else here does, but I know there's a few moments that stand out for me. Probably one of my favorite shows to play was the Reign of Terror event around Halloween.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was a really
great event.
Cool event. And it was so unique and so different. And, obviously we were very well received and they were very, very good to us. So I definitely really enjoyed playing that show with everyone. And that whole weekend was just a marathon of shows. So that was just really cool to have. Like, we were exhausted, we were tired, and then we had a couple shows with the other group, the Mary Lou's and TDP. So it was just literally like 5 shows in the span of like 3 days, essentially. And we were exhausted but happy.
Yes. And one more recent event that we performed at that you were with us with, that I think is noteworthy, was the Apocalypse East.
Yeah, that was an experience.
That was definitely an
That was
experience.
fun, but challenging.
Yes.
Yes.
That stands out as well. So.
Oh, absolutely. And even like not a performance-based memory, but the first photo shoot I was involved in with you all definitely holds a special place in my heart, because it was really cool, because I didn't know really any of you very well. And, coming in and being nervous and not knowing, like, I don't know if they're going to pick up what I'm putting down, if they'll like it. And
you brought it, though.
And that's another aspect where...
Those are great photos.
That's another example of if you think, like, oh, is this, like, too much for them? And instead we're like, no, we're like, go.
Like, yes.
And then you're putting food color in your eyes.
I didn't go blind, so...
No, not yet.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And then one thing I'll touch on that is just it's something I think of now and then. Is back when we were doing the pre-orders for the Malignant Hymn, we had what we called the Goat Edition, and it was only available as a pre-order. You can't get it anymore. It came with a special edition shirt. It only was available with that, handwritten lyrics. There were, back from the Chaos Ritual era, there were bloody Bible pages that you put those together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that Avery put together and framed. There were large prints of each member, because while, wouldn't have made sense to go the vinyl route, we still all appreciate the artwork and imagery, so we offered large prints that were signed. And I just remember, I always really enjoy when bands do special editions for people that appreciate the physical media. I was like, but, this is our first release. Will we move any? And it actually ended up doing a lot of units, a lot considering it was our first release and we're basically unknown at that point. So I just remember once it was time to kind of compile them together, and I'm writing out the lyrics for different songs and things like that, and it was just it was good. It was like, even in full scope compared to what I'm sure a lot of more well-known bands do with special editions, it was a I did not expect how many we had that sold, and it was a special time to be sending those out and knowing that people appreciated all of it that much to want that.
We also had special edition posters for the live release show.
Right, yeah, we had special. So we try to make things have, like, we try to make special qualities for things that have maybe a bigger meaning than each show, when we can. Or we like to do just kind of limited edition things that once it's gone, things. So, because I like things like that, and apparently others do too, and that is fun. So our other alarm went off, but we're making our way good. We're almost done, so this will kind of lead us out anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of TDP, what are some creative things you do, interests and hobbies? And I know we kind of hit on that earlier, so if you all want to kind of just mention anything else again as far as interests and hobbies and some creative things that you do outside of the group, it can be a group chatter.
Nice.
Chime in.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we all love music, so I'm always listening to music, so that's something I do just all the time, and we all love music. We're all music people, and we're all creative people. Like I had said earlier, just been painting a lot, and I try to meditate when I can, trying to get into meditation more and more, and try to go outside, try to be in nature as much as I can on a day-to-day, which isn't much, but it, even if it's just, from walking from your car to wherever you're going to enter that 1 minute, just try to enjoy the whatever wind or sunshine you get.
That reminds me, before it gets disgustingly hot out, we should do more bone walks.
Yes.
All right, sorry, keep going.
Oh, but not to take over here, but that's pretty much what I would say that I've been up to. So.
And I mean, Razor Avery, and anything else, or are you good with what you said? I mean, you.
Yeah.
I mean, you do hair, you do all that fun shit, you do makeup, you got.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of different makeup art. I've done, makeup for horror movies. I've done special effects, done some editorial things.
You've been in some things?
I've been in background actor and some movies. One of my favorites being Gotham. As an extra, doing some television work, doing some digital media work as a makeup artist and hairstylist. I make wigs, I make clothes, I make dolls and puppets, I paint with blood, I have kitties. A jerk of all trades, master of none. I collect, again, obscure instruments that I sort of learn how to make my way through. Not
real quick, what's the most obscure thing you own?
I'm gonna say either the Tibetan steel drum or my theremin.
Fantastic.
Yeah, both of which I hope we get to utilize at some point.
We will use both, no question.
But yeah, I just enjoy being hands-on. I'm someone who I'm gonna be like, you know what? If someone's like, can you do that? And I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'll do it.
I also take care of kitties in my spare time. I enjoy circus arts, anything alternative fitness I love.
I was going to say, you haven't even mentioned your aerials and silks and all the crazy shit you do. I tried that for 3 months, and
you did good. You did good. You're strong, but you weren't very flexible, so we need to work on that. But
that's the pathetic attaboy.
You did good.
After the first time or two, I had much better. Not that I didn't before, but I was like, holy fuck.
That stuff's hard.
I spin fire. I dance with hula hoops. I I like movement and dance a lot. I also play DDR, and I injured my shoulder playing Dance Dance Revolution. As lame as that sounds.
Or as cool as it
It's
sounds.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hurt myself doing aerial silks and trapeze. I hurt myself playing
But
DDR.
That's what happens, though.
You know,
Like,
like
she goes fucking ham.
But I forgot to mention roller derby, and Rocky Horror Shadowcasting as well.
There you go. Ordinary kids.
Ordinary Kids, and roller derby for about 13 or 14 years now.
As far as myself, creative things I do are pretty much the same things I do within the group. I work with digital media as for the Destruct Principle, for anything, pictures of cats, interests and hobbies.
if you see us at a show and you want to show us pictures of your cats, we're
Please
all
do.
about it.
I mean, the last one, that was a whole last 10 minutes
Oh,
of,
yeah.
of the night. Interests and hobbies, basically what you see as far as the groups and what we've discussed. And again, you know, with the cats, animals, you know, plant-based lifestyle things, all that fun stuff. Ginger dressing. But yeah, that's that. And to wrap it up, for everyone, where can we find you online, Avery?
Kitty.witch with 2 V's on Instagram. And that
Which they can
has
find the link tree on.
yeah, that has my link tree. You can find all of my stuff.
You can find, that is your Instagram, your Facebook, your TikTok. There's some spice, and is there other stuff? Are you on?
I don't think so.
So yeah,
Just
you got-
everything's under there.
You've got DDR videos on
I do. You want to see it?
there. Yeah. Oh, you didn't even mention it. No, you did mention the gym. Yeah.
Yeah, I do the gym. I do anything alternative fitness, and
So Instagram kitty.vitch, VVITCH, and then go to the link tree. Jared Barkley Wood.
I create collage artwork, and it's something I've been doing for like the past several years, and I have an Instagram page for that. I call it Collages from Hell, and it's collages _ from another _ hell. So just go to Instagram and search for Collages from Hell, and you should be able to find me pretty quickly on there. I have all of my collages. I think there's over 200, close to 300 collages I've made. They're
we
all
also have them at shows.
Yes.
We have
Oh, yes.
large prints of them at
Yeah.
the shows that he will sign.
Yes, if you if you really want me to, I'll be happy to sign one of
Yes.
them. And
If I purchased them and the artist was there, I would be like, "Can you please sign this?"
Absolutely.
well, I would gladly sign it for you. So, but yeah, you can find my collage artwork on Instagram, and of course you can find TDP on every social media platform that there is. So that's about it for me.
Miss Razor.
You can find me everywhere, literally everywhere.
In your closet.
Yeah. Just go to my linktree / Razor D Rockefeller. And also I'll be launching my website again soon. It's been inactive for a hot minute, but that will be my central hub for all things with my art, music, smut, and fetish content. And yeah, find me again everywhere. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, all those fun things. So go to the link tree. When the website's up, you can go to the website and you can find all of my things.
And as far as myself, I always forget. You'll probably find me on sites I don't even remember I'm on. But I try to maintain the TheDestructPrinciple.com as the main hub for all information with the Destruct Principle. You can also find my Headspace blog writings on there, The Word of X, which I'm trying to really grow and make more interesting as I'm focused more on that. and so because I always have things to say. DestructPrinciple.com will also lead you to hopefully all of the other things we're on, or most of them. Our YouTube channel is linked off there if you don't want to try to search it on YouTube. Cult of TDP, KVLTOF TDP, or just go to thedestructprinciple.com and click video, and it'll take you to the YouTube. It also links to our merch page, also links to Collages from Hell, links to our extended spooky family of the Dark Parlor, links to the circus clowns of the Mary Lou's. I will probably add links of the link trees for Avery and Razor. Not a bad idea. So that's the main hub of the Destruct Principle, which I would direct you to first. Obviously, there's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are hopefully going to be more active actually doing streams on Twitch. Whether it's the Destruct Principle or off my own, he's been using brand X, although I think Twitch is XXX. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, find me in space with with the cats. That is pretty much it. We actually almost stayed in time because this was going to be chit chat, and we just ended up bringing that to the end. So, success of a great time.
Indeed.
So this was our member introductions, questions, and chit chat. And we are hoping to have episodes up every Monday on our YouTube channel. Follow, like, and subscribe. Come to a ritual. Reach out to us if you're a promoter, if you're another band, if you're anyone that is interested. If we can make it happen, let's chat. If you want to collaborate, we're always interested in incorporating people into what we consider the greater Magic Movement era collective. Might end up doing some things with you. Who knows? Remixes, guest spots, whatever. And that is pretty much it. Anyone have last minute bits? No. So that is it. Keep going, keep growing, and hails.
The demented physician swiftly knelt down behind her, pulling from his fly a dark, wrinkled stub of a cock and pounding away on it as hard as he could.